So in this video we will be talking about how we can actually hijack the application's DLL, right? We will not only just discuss the theory of the topic we will be discussing in this video, but we will also do the practical, so that we can have a hands-on experience like how actually to do the hijacking, right? Before getting into the hijacking thing, let me just tell you quickly what DLL is. So basically DLL just stand for dynamic link library, and right here as you can see, the D means dynamic, the L mean link, and the second L mean library. So the dynamic just mean that these programs or like a specific function are not hard coded in the application, but rather they are used when needed, right? And this link mean that multiple programs can use the same DLL when they need it, and the library just mean that the DLL are just a collection of some specific program, right? And the library just mean that the DLL is about some specific program that it performs some specific function. For example, when you play any sound using the Chrome browser, the Chrome actually don't know how to play a sound. What it does instead, it uses this specific DLL, and the Chrome just asks us, hey, when mm.dll or when window multimedia.dll, play this specific sound that that the user is trying to play. And what the DLL does is it has all of this structure like how to actually play a sound, and then what happens is the DLL give those instructions to the Chrome, and this is how the Chrome plays the sound to us. So right here as you can see, as I said, the programs do not include every function like they need. Basically just saying that the program does not have hard coded functions. What they do instead is they use the DLL when they need it and perform those specific function. Like for example, there are some software that play the sound. So what it does is it uses the DLL and the specific function to play the sound to us. Another example, as you can see right here, is when the Chrome browser needs to play a notification or like any specific sound, it just calls this specific DLL to play the sound to us. There are so many DLL that on like functions, and what exactly we will be discussing is that in this video is that, as I said, inside the DLL there are some specific function and like it does a specific job. What if we replace a real DLL, like in this case this one, and we make our own DLL and we just write some function or like anything, like for example we want reverse shell or like we want to create a user or anything, we can write just anything, right? And once we make the DLL, we will then rename the DLL to this specific name that we are trying to replace the DLL with. So what will happen is that when the Chrome wants to play any sound and is calling the winmm.dll, what will happen if like we make our own DLL and replace it with the real one, and let's say the Chrome wants to play a notification sound or anything. So what it will do is the Chrome will just call the winmm.dll, and instead of the real winmm.dll, it will just call the function from our own DLL. And what will happen if the user start the specific program that we change the DLL of, like in this case we will take the Chrome. So if the user start the Chrome with admin access, what will actually happen is that the program will call this DLL. This is our own DLL, actually the malicious one, and we have just specified something like to create a user and then add to administrator group, or either give us a reverse shell, or could be anything, right? So as a result we will either get a reverse shell with high privileges, or it can create a new user for us with the admin rights. And right here, these service binary hijacking and DLL hijack, we'll just talk about this in one of the next video, right? We'll be just focusing on the DLL hijacking of applications. Actually we can also replace the DLL of services, but in this case, in this video, we will just talk about the hijacking of applications DLL. Okay, so now let's talk about how the Chrome just load the any DLL, or like for example how a software loads a DLL. So first of all, if let's say Chrome wants to load this DLL, it will just check its own directory, like from where the Chrome is loaded or started. So right here, as you can see, this is where the Chrome started from. Let me just actually show you. let me just go here and click on this, and then application, Google, program files, Google Chrome, and application. So you see right here, this is the chrome.exe. When we run this chrome.exe, it will just check the directory and the subdirectory to find out all of the DLLs. And if for some reason any of the DLL is not present in any of the subfolder of this chrome directory, what it will do next is it will just go, let me just show you, it will then check in the system32, and let's assume the DLL is also not found in this place. It will then just go here, this path is like rarely used nowadays, and if let's say the DLL is also not present in this path, what the Chrome will do is it will find out the DLL in the path from where it just started or open. Like for example, as you can see, this is the chrome.exe. let me just show you. And if I go to somewhere else, like let me just create a new folder or directory, and actually let me go with this, and you can see there is a DLL already. I have made this one, and if I open the terminal from here and then type the and then specify the chrome.exe path, let me just do this and paste the path, and then let me just also write the chrome.exe and then code. And if I press enter, the Chrome will actually start from this specific directory. Actually not from where the chrome.exe exists, but from this specific directory, as you can see right here. So it will then check this specific directory that if the DLL is present in this directory or no, that from where we are running or opening the Chrome. I hope this makes sense. And right here, as you can see, I have made the DLL and put it in this directory. If the Chrome for some reason failed to find the specific DLL, it will just then load that specific DLL from here. And this is actually a malicious DLL, not actual DLL. As I already said, you can just see the Chrome just first of all check its own directory. If it's not found, it then checks in the system32. And actually this fifth number that I just told you, that it just find the DLL from where the Chrome is open, we call this CWD attack or current working directory. We will discuss this specific attack in the coming video or either this video, not sure, but let's see. Okay, so I think you got a little bit understanding of what DLL is and what exactly is DLL application DLL hijacking, right? So now what we will do exactly is we will try to find out what are those specific DLL that the software or application wants to load. In this case, we will just take the Chrome. Let's say the Chrome wants to load a specific DLL, and for some reason the DLL is not present in the device. In this step, what we will be doing exactly is we will use this specific tool. This is actually a tool made by the Microsoft itself. So we'll be using this specific tool to find out what are those specific DLL that the Chrome wants to load but is not present in the device, or any other software that, or let's say any other software that they wants to load any DLL that they need but is not present on the device. So once we find out what DLL is not present on the device, we will just make a new one with our malicious stuff, and we will just give it the exact same name that the software is looking for, and then we will place that DLL in that same directory that the Chrome wants to load from. And once we place that and start the Chrome browser, it will just load our malicious DLL, and whatever we have put inside that DLL, it will be just executed, right? I hope this makes sense. So to download this Procmon, you can just go to Google and type Procmon, and from the very first link you can click here and you can just click on this thing and it will be just downloaded, right? I have already downloaded it. Let me just open it. So it actually need admin access. You will have to give the admin access. And right here, as you can see, this is how the interface of Procmon looks like. Let me just quickly give you an overview of the interface so that you can get a little bit understanding of what's going on the screen. Okay, so the first column we have, it just show the current time. Let me just drag there, and in the next column, this is the actual processes name that are running right now. So as you can see, the Procmon is running, and you have a bunch of other processes that are running right now that we can also confirm from here clicking on the task manager. See, these are all of the processes that are currently running. See, these are exactly the same, but why we are not using this task manager instead of this is it give us a more like detailed information, and we can just do analysis and find out more stuff than this one. So this is why we use, right? So this is the exact application name. You can just scroll down and see the actual applications. Right here, as you can see some more processes, like for example the OBS that I am currently recording with, and also the Discord is running right now, so you can also see the Discord is running. And what this is the specific ID of each of the process, alright? And then the another column we have operation. So these are all of the operation. Let me just check what operation. Alright, so as you can see right here that the operation column just mean that it just tell us about the action that the specific program does, right? So some examples are here. If it's the create file, it just saying that the program is trying to open or create a file, and same for the read file or write file, it's just reading or writing the file. Same, this one is about registry, like opening the registry or either changing the registry key, right? And this is about processes, and the last one is about TCP send. This one is about networking stuff. And for this specific column, this just tell us the exact location of the program that is running, right? And the result column just tell us whether the program is working or not. So if we success, for example, in the result, it just mean the program either works successfully or is working, right? And for example, if we somewhere that like access denied, that the specific program is trying to do something but it's not allowed, so that's why we are seeing the access denied. And right here, as you can see, name not found, it just means that the file actually is not found. Like a very simple example of this is, so I am using OBS for recording this screen, right? And what I am trying to do is I have used a filter where I have like a webcam, and I have used like a circular frame to put my camera in that circular frame, right? And this is the full path of that circular frame, and this is the full path of that circular frame thing that I am using for my webcam. Right here, as you can see, and since the PNG exists in this specific path, it just says success. If I deleted this specific PNG from my download folder, it will just say name not found, right? So this is what it means. And one more option right here is that when you click on this, it will be just capturing all of the processes until you click on it again to stop capturing the processes. And once you capture enough processes, you can just export them and later analyze them, like by clicking here and then save. Now what we are trying to do with this Procmon tool is that we are trying application that tries to run something but they are not found on the system. So like as you can see right here, there are so many events. As you can see, how we will find those one that does not have the name not found. So for that, actually we will go to this option filter one, and then we'll click right here on this. And then what we are going to do is you can just choose so many options from here. Let me just quickly tell you. So if for example you want to check for application like Chrome browser, that for the Chrome browser, if there is any process that is trying to run something but does not exist or not found, just show that to us, right? So what we will do for that is we will click on the process name, and we know exactly what we are targeting, like Chrome in this case. And we will then click on this second bar, and we will just select either the process name contains a specific letter or term or anything, or we can just actually put a specific name of the process. So in this case, we know what the process name is, so I'm just choosing the is, and then we'll here just specify the chrome.exe. so this is the actual process name. And then from here you can just leave this on default, or depending on the situation, if you want to include the chrome.exe or no. So we are only trying to find the chrome.exe, and once we set all of these values, we will just click on this add, and after that we will click on the apply. So right now the Chrome browser is not open, it will just not show anything. Let me just click on this and show you. Actually, before applying the filter, we need to start the capturing so that it can just capture the events in real time. So let's first click on this, and then we will go to filter, click here, and then we can just tell the process name is chrome.exe. Then we can click on add and then apply. Now we only see all of the event of chrome.exe. So if you look at this column, you can see most of them are successful and some of them or few of them are like not found, right? So in this case, this one is not found, and there are a bunch of stuff that is not found. So now what we are going to do is we are discussing the applications DLL hijacking. So now let's add another filter to just tell us the DLL only. So let me just click on the result as we want. So what we will do now is we will only filter out for the chrome.exe and only. So now what we will do is we will only filter for the DLL. It will just show us the DLL files, right? So for that we will click on the path, you can see right here, and we will now select the contents because we don't know actually the full path of the stuff that it's try to run, but in the path we know there is a DLL term. So let me just type DLL and click on add, then apply, and then right here these are all of the DLLs. You can see DLL, all of them are .dll, and if you look again here, most of them are successful and very few of them are like not found. So let's just add one more filter only to just give us only that are not found. So for that we'll go to filter again, and then we'll now select the result. Yep, and in the result we will try to find only that has not found, name not found. So we can just either write name not found or just click on this one and type not found, and then click on the apply. Okay, finally, as you can see, these are all of the DLL that the Chrome is trying to load, but they are not found on the device. See, all of them are not found, and these are all of the DLLs. Now what we will do actually is we will choose any of the DLL, and what we will do next is like we will try to make our own malicious DLL. Once we make the DLL, like for example, I made a malicious DLL and then I name it to this specific DLL like dpapi.dll, and then I put exactly in this specific place. And once I place the DLL and then run the Chrome, it will just load the DLL. Right here, as you can see, we have also discussed this in the example that winmm.dll. So as I said, the Chrome first check this DLL in its own directory. So when it does not found it in its own directory, it then checks in the system32. So what we can do actually is we can make a DLL with this name with our own malicious stuff inside and put it in this directory. And once we run the Chrome, it will just execute this our malicious DLL. Now what actually we will do is I have already made this specific DLL with my own malicious stuff, right? And how I made that I will just tell you, but before that let's just put that malicious DLL in like the application folder or the Chrome folder. So this is the malicious DLL. Let me just copy this one and come to here. This is the actually here it's trying to find the DLL, so we will put the DLL here. Right now you see it asks for permission, like if you want to put this DLL in this directory or no. I will come to this in a moment, just focus on what I am doing. So now I have put the malicious DLL, and in the Procmon we saw that the Chrome is trying to look for this specific DLL and is not found. Now what we will do next is we will just close the Chrome browser and then we will rerun it, and then we will look for this specific DLL in the Procmon, and it will just say a success here. To close this, I'm just going to use task kill im. So this command will just close the Chrome forcefully. Now the Chrome is closed. What we will do next is, okay, let me just tell you what this specific DLL does before opening the Chrome. So when you click on this DLL, it will just for demonstration, it will just open the calculator like 3 times just to find out that actually this DLL works. And I have actually made another one that when you run it, it will just make a user with a specific name that I have mentioned in the DLL, and then with a specific password as well. And then what it will do is it will add that specific user to the admin group, right? Let's first use this one that will open the calculator. So as I click on this, you will see multiple calculator will be appear over here. So right here, as you can see, multiple calculator are open. Now we know our malicious DLL executed, and whatever I type in the DLL inside, it just executed, right? But the problem with this DLL is it has a little bit of problem, and because of that the DLL is executed, but the Chrome just kind of crash. But the Chrome kind of get crashed. We can actually fix that, but let's just leave it like this for right now. And now let me just close the Chrome. You saw the DLL loaded with the Chrome as I click on it. Now here is a problem with this, all of the stuff I have told you. You see, I have made the malicious DLL and paste it here. Now the problem with this is whenever we want to put anything inside in these directory, it will ask for admin permission. And we assume that when we get a reverse shell from the victim device, it's a low privilege user, and we are exactly trying to get higher level privileges. Right now it's just already asking the higher level privileges, so this method will only work after we get higher level privileges, unless it will not work, right? So instead what we will do is we will do the same DLL like making malicious DLL and stuff, and then but instead of this directly in the C program files, it just need the admin access. What we will do actually is we have some other directory that we can find out some application, and if there are some exists in those directories, I'm just going to show you. We'll try to find out what DLL they run, and like we will just do the enumeration and stuff, and once we find out, we can then just write a malicious DLL and then place. So the directories we have is, let me just show you. I think I have, okay, right here as you can see, these are the paths that we will try to find the install application. And once we find out any of the application and see if there is any DLL that is not found, we can just make a malicious one and put it there. So let me just quickly make a full path from these. You will just understand it more better. So right here as you can see, one is this specific path. We will just check for the install application over there. Sometimes applications are installed there. We will try to find them out. And another path is this one, and third one we have this one. And we will also check the desktop, right, and downloads as well. So even if you are like unprivileged user or like have less permission, this will not ask you admin permission. You can still the read, write and modify permission. So our goal should be focusing on these paths. Let me just quickly show you some of the paths. So I will go to C drive where my Windows install, and then what I will do next is, where is the full path? Yeah, then I will click on the user, and then I will click on this one because I am logged into this user right now. And then what we will do is we will try to find this AppData. If you cannot see this one, you will click on this view thing and then show, and then click on this hidden item. Or if you have Windows 10, you can also there will be some option to view the hidden items. Once you click on this, you will see this, otherwise you will not see. We will click on this, and then these are the paths that I was talking about. 3 of them are these, and one is the desktop and another is download. So let me just click on the local one, and boom, you can see so many software are over there. So if there is any DLL missing over here in any of these files, I can just change it without needing the admin permission, right? So for example, there are like a lot, even the Claude I1, see the entropic Claude. Now the problem is that there are so many folders. How we have to do a lot of work to find out the install application and find out the executable like the .exe files. So what I did instead is I went to Claude and I told him that this is the problem that I am facing. I will have to check every single folder. And what he did for me is he write this specific PowerShell script. What it does, it just check all of the subfolder and folders in this directory, or this one, this one, this one, and this one, right? Basically it searches for the .exe file in all of these directory, right? And once it finds out any of the .exe file in any of these directory, it just save the result in a file. That right now we are putting the file on the desktop, but we should not do if we are doing the real pen testing, right? Okay, so now the result is stored on this file, that there are this much .exe file in these directory. What we will do now is we will use command like this to just list out the content of this specific file, right? So let me just copy this one first of all and go to PowerShell, and you see I just copy this script from here, and then I'm just going to press Ctrl V, and let me just click on this one, and you can see right here just checking the .exe file, and right here you can see it has completed the search and asking from us that if you want to save the result in this specific file. If yes, just press enter. So I have pressed enter and it just stored the result in this directory, in this file actually. Now let's just copy this specific, let me go to this and paste here and go. Bro, I just opened the Chrome. Okay, so where is the PowerShell? So let me just type this, and yeah, now we can see the all of the exe on those 5 directories. We can see there are like Claude.exe, AppData.exe, and so many executable. Now before doing anything, let me just quickly tell you one more thing, is that if you want to check whether you can do like modify or like place a file, a new file, or edit an existing file in this specific directory or any of these directories, right? So for that what we will do is that let me just copy this one, copy. We'll try to find out if we can like have permission to modify and write. So we'll come here and type icacls, right? So and then specify the path, and if I press enter, it will just tell us that if in this specific path can I modify or edit or do anything. It will just tell us exactly. So let's see. So right here as you can see I'm logged into this user, and the F just mean that I have the full access, so I can do like add a new file, delete file, or anything I want, right? So it's confirmed that I can put the DLL here without needing admin permission. The same thing that I told earlier for this program files. Here you can see when you copy this path and go to the PowerShell and type this thing again, it will just tell us if you can type or like have access. So right now I do have access because I am admin user, and we are assuming that we have got a reverse shell and we are logged into a user that has like low privileges, right? So this is why we are skipping this path. But you know, these path that we are talking about, these are also good. The good point about these is that even they will not give you like high level privileges, you can still put the DLL in any of these paths, right? We'll just check out where we will exactly put the DLL, and once we put the DLL, and let's say the user or either we run any of the program that where we put the DLL, it will just, you know, execute our DLL, and whatever we like put inside the DLL, it will just does that. Like for example, we type that when the user execute this specific program, you know, it will just load this DLL, and inside that DLL we specify that when this DLL is loaded, just give us the reverse shell. We will specify the port and our Kali Linux machine IP or anything, or the C2 IP, right? And each time the program gets run, it will just give us reverse shell. And now here it's get interesting. So we have put the DLL, and each time the user run the program, it will just give us a reverse shell. So now what we can do, we can actually just add a registry key. Like we can do something that will just auto run the specific application that we put the DLL in. Like for example this, and we will specify in the registry that each time the user opens his computer and logs into this user, just run this program without asking anything. So this will just give us persistent, right? So even it will not give us like high level privileges, but it's good, you know, it will just give us a persistent, and then once we get persistent, we can just like find out different way to get high level privileges. I hope this makes sense. Now after we get this list, what we will do exactly is that we will choose any of the, you know, full path or the application. We will try to run that specific application that we chose, and then once we run that, it will be running, and after that we will open the Procmon and we will see what that specific application tries to run specifically the DLL. So I'm just going with the Spotify one right here. As you can see this one, yeah. So I'm just going to copy this path, Control C, and then let me just open another CMD. And I don't know how to run the application in CMD, but I do know how to run in PowerShell. So PowerShell, and we'll just type this end thing and code and the full path. Let me remove the space, and once I press the enter, it will just run the spotify.exe, right? And now what we will do is we will go to Procmon, reset the filter. Actually we don't need the Chrome right now. So, and now the process name is Spotify. Wait, let me just make it to contain Spotify, yeah, and add this one. And now the result contains not found, yeah, contains not found. Let me just only type not, and then let's just click on apply and see if there are some DLL that are not found. Okay, so the events are loaded now. Let's just see. Oh, there are so many DLL that are not. No, wait, we did not set the filter for DLL. Let's just also add the filter for DLL. So the path contains DLL, yeah, path contains DLL, yeah. Click here and here, click on OK, and now we need to specify .dll because I see some file that is not like the DLL one. So let's go here, and I think we cannot edit this, so let's just remove this and type .dll, yeah, click OK, yes. So I can see one of the DLL that is version.dll. So I mean, let's just wait and see. Yeah, so now we are actually seeing the result we wanted. So these are all the DLL that is not found on the device. See, this DLL is mostly used by almost most of the software. We have used this in Chrome and now this one as well. So now what we will do is we'll try to make a DLL. We will see how actually do we make DLL. Before making DLL, we will first of all choose which one to go with. I mean, let's ask the AI and see what's his reaction is for this. So now let me just go here and actually open another Claude. So I pasted this screenshot here and asked the Claude to which one to go with, and I know for sure that this guy will not answer me this. So what I am going to do is to copy this whole chat. I have actually discussed the whole DLL hijacking stuff, so if I copy this and paste it in this chat, he will more probably just answer me. So in the image focus, let me just give it note that okay, so Claude says the version.dll is best choice out of all these. So let me just stop it and let's try to make a suspicious DLL, and let me just tell this guy to make a DLL for me. So now I told the Claude to make the DLL for me, but before making, make sure to search on the internet, like to make sure like whatever function we needed, and we want to make sure that we don't miss any of those function, right? So right here, as you can see, he's just searching on Google and he's trying to make the code for me now. Basically, when we make the DLL, we write it in the C code. Once we get the C code, we will then use a compiler, or we call it cross compiler, and using that we will compile this code and it will just give us a DLL file. So let's just wait for this and see what's going on. Now let's just see what this DLL does. Okay, so right here the payload in this is, when this DLL is executed, it will just create a user with the name XYZ and with the password XYZ, right? And it will then also try to add the XYZ account to admin group. He's also creating a guide for us. So first of all, let's just copy this code and let me just go to the desktop. So let me first of all close this chrome.exe, it's still open. So let me type kill im colon, no, it's chrome. Yeah, much better. Now let me just create a new directory with the name Spotify DLL. Now let's go inside this and create a new file with any name, and let me just open this and copy the C code and let's just paste it here, then press Ctrl+S to save this. And next what we will do is we want to make sure we give the correct name. So the name we should give this is version.cpp. I think I should copy this from here. Yeah, and no, wait, not this one. Yeah, this one exactly. And no, and yeah, this name actually. And now we will just copy this export.def. So copy this, make a new file, edit, let me remove the content, paste the, okay, wait, paste the functions, pro. Okay, now let me just rename this file so that we can continue. So the name we should give this to is export.def. Yeah, much better. Alright, so now the thing is that we have got the files and now we need a cross compiler that will give us the DLL. So there are actually multiple ways to get the compiler. One of the easy method is, let me just go to Google and show you what it's like. So search this specific query and this right here, this video, you watch this and it will just tell you how you can install the compiler, right? So it's just like a 2 minutes video. Once you install the compiler, then you will come to this. I'm just going to open the terminal in this. Okay, so I'm going to type VHL. This is basically a Linux based machine in Windows, so you can search for this, how you can install this on your Windows. So now what I am going to do is, I have already installed the compiler on this, right? So let's just go to this and let's see the guide. So you will save the file with this name, right, on this in some directory, and then once you put both of the file in one directory, you will just copy this. Let's just run the command that I copied from the Claude and see what happens. So I have got the command and press enter and see we have got the version.dll. So this is basically our malicious DLL, right? Next what we will do is to go to that specific directory that the spotify.exe was in, and we'll copy the version.dll over there, right? So we can go just by using the GUI or either by CLI. So let me just go there. Yeah, we are here. Now we need to put the version.dll over here, right? So again we can just use either the GUI or CLI. So I'm just going with the GUI. So let me just copy this and paste it here. Did you see it did not ask for any permission or like anything? Let me just delete again this one and let me delete and copy the path actually and come and paste this file using the CLI. So okay, to copy this file using the CLI to that directory, let me just, you need to actually note down this path, and let me just go here and we'll confirm if the file comes here or no. So let me go to the command prompt, and where this command we are using the copy command, and here this is the destination, this is the source address, and this is the destination address. So if I press enter, we will see the version.dll over here without like asking for any admin level permission, right? So right here, as you can see, the file is copied to this part, and this is the file actually.
2000 years later.
Alright, so I have tested the malicious DLL and it executed pretty well, but the problem with that was the spotify.exe were in the user directory, right? So it does not have like high level permissions. And what happened exactly is I have placed the DLL inside the Spotify directory, right, and then executed the spotify.exe, and the thing is the Spotify will just open normally, right? And as you know that we write in the DLL that when the DLL is executed, you need to create a new user with a specific name and its password, right? But what actually happened is that we were using the net user command, which help us to make new user from CLI, right? So what happened actually is that I have realized that when you are creating a user, you actually need admin permission. You actually cannot create a user when you have like medium level privileges, right? So actually we were trying to create user using the Spotify, and the Spotify were in the user directory, and that user directory has like medium level privileges that cannot actually create the user. So it was causing some error, right? Actually after that I have run that spotify.exe as admin, and when I checked the user, it created a new user. Now the problem with this is that we cannot actually run the spotify.exe as we are trying to get persistence. We have low privileges, right? So what we can do instead with the Spotify and the malicious DLL is that instead of creating a new user, what we can do with the malicious DLL is that we can put some code that just help us to connect to our C2 server, or from where we can control and do stuff on the computer remotely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a C2 server, but actually I don't have the actual C2. In this case I will use Discord. This will act as my C2, right? I will use the webhook of this channel. Like you can go over here, click on this, and from here you can create a webhook. Once you click on this, you will see a webhook, right? You can just copy the webhook from here. So I'm going to use this server as a C2, and I'm going to put this webhook in the malicious DLL. So when the Spotify is executed or run, it will load my DLL, and when it load my DLL, it will just connect the compromised machine to my C2 server, in this case this server. The good thing about this is you can do all of this stuff that I have just said even when you have low privileges, right? So we will try to connect to this C2 server, and then we will also edit the registry so that we can like run the spotify.exe in persistence, and we can also add the spotify.exe in a startup folder. So each time the user logins, we will just easily get the connection to C2 server. Now let me just tell you one more thing, that I will have to keep the window defender closed, right? Because we are just trying how we can just like get the persistence and stuff by passing the window defender, and like real-time detection is itself a very long and detailed topic. So we are just assuming that the window defender will not like detect our malicious DLL, right? We can discuss how we can actually bypass the window defender in some other video. So for now we are just assuming that window defender is like not detecting our malicious DLL, because I have closed the window defender, right? So what I did is I came here to the Claude and asked him to just forget about the user creation. Instead we will try to connect to the C2 server. So I have told him to create the version.dll, actually the malicious DLL for the Spotify, and I have here just above mentioned my webhook, right? So what he did actually is he created a code in C++ language, and he added my webhook and also made the DLL reliable so that the Spotify can run normally. And then what I did is I actually copied the code from here and then went to the Spotify DLL that we created directory, and then I have opened the version.cpp file and pasted the code actually here, right? So now let me just save this file and then we can go to the compiler and type actually this so that it can compile for us. Actually the AI also give this thing to us so that we can compile right here, as you can see. Let me just copy this, go to the command prompt and paste it here, and now this will give us a malicious DLL. Let me just show you. Oh wait, yeah, so right here let me just delete it and show you again that it created the DLL actually. So I have pressed the enter and see we have got the DLL. Now what we are going to do is to delete this DLL that I have already pasted in the Spotify directory, and let me just drag it here. We can actually use the CLI method to copy the file from here to here, but I'm just using this one for right now. Now what we are going to do is make sure your Spotify is closed, right? And we will execute the spotify.exe from here. So I'm going to this command prompt and type this. So this will actually execute this specific exe, right? As I press enter on this, it will execute this Spotify and Spotify will load this malicious DLL, and once this DLL is loaded, it will just send us some message from here, right? It's just a basic, connection or just notification that yeah, the compromised machine is connected to the C2 server. We can actually make it more advanced so that we can also send commands from here or from actual C2 server, right? So let me just press enter and see the magic. Now the Spotify is open. See, we will get a notification from here. See, we have got the notification from the Spotify and it just executed the malicious DLL and connected to our C2 server. So what we are going to do next is we will try to make persistence by adding a registry so that when the user turn off the device and then turn on, so that we can still get connected to our C2 server. So what we are going to do is we will copy the .exe path actually, and like I copy the path from here and then went to the DeepSeek and told him that I need to add these to the registry and also to the startup folders, so that after each login we will get connected to the C2 server. And there is also another method that we can use. Instead of connected to Discord, we will connect to our Kali Linux machine or any C2 server you want to control this compromised device from. So now as you can see, we have got the two method. One is for the registry and one is for the startup folder, and if you want to use this CMD, you will use this command, and if you want to use the PowerShell, you will use this command. So both work the same way. So now we will actually copy this or either this. Let me just copy this one, right? So this will add a registry, and each time the user logs in, the Spotify.exe will run, right? And same is the case for this. If we use this one, it will just copy the Spotify.exe to the startup folder and it will just run itself on the startup. So both of these will work the same way. I'm just going to copy this one and just simply use this one because this one and this one works the same way. So I have copied this and now let me just paste it here. Remember, this does not need any admin permission. So let me just press enter and see they have added a new registry key to run the Spotify.exe after each login. So now each time I open this user, specifically this user that currently I am logged into, it will run the Spotify.exe, and each time the Spotify.exe run, it will launch our malicious DLL, and once it launch our malicious DLL, it will then give us connection to our C2 server, right? I hope this makes sense and you understand all of the stuff that I've explained. I will see you in the next video.